What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So a few days ago, we got some of the best Shark support any Shark player could have freaking dreamt of, including myself, because this deck went from like a, just a random casual / rogue status to a top tier threat. And I'm not capping, like this is how I actually feel about it. It is super consistent, super powerful. It just only needs like 1 or 2 cards to play. It can play a lot of hand shops, it can play through hand shops, and it just has so much room for non-engine. It's just insane how like one wave of support changed everything. So yeah, if you are a Shark enthusiast, this is probably the perfect video for you, because I'll be showing you guys the basics of all the combos that you really need to know with this deck. But yeah, before we go any further, I would really appreciate you guys, even more than I already do, if you could smash the like and subscribe button. And I know I say this like it doesn't really mean too much, but it really does. If this video can get to 1,000 likes, I will be making a full spreadsheet video on this. And I know you guys want that as well, so I already know what to do. Smash the like button. 1,000 likes, I'm making a video with like 10 combos, with like everything you can ask for, beating every hand shop, everything. Just, you don't want to miss it, so smash the like button. And with that being said, let's get right into combo number 1. Alright, so what can you do with one single copy of Buzzsaw Shark? Well, the combo is actually much different now than it used to be, as so you're going to be going normal summon and then use its ignition effect to summon the surfacing big jaws from the deck, but you're not going to be going into a Bahamut Shark into Toad. Because of the fact that this was summoned off a Buzzsaw Shark, it cannot activate its effect to search a fish shark monster from your deck to your hand. So we're going to be going for Dueling and then revive back the surfacing big jaws. And now it wasn't, it's a different big jaw, so it's no longer affected by Buzzsaw Shark. So we can search our Abyss Shark, and the Dueling is not going to be useless. We can go into Xyz Armor Fortress, and then detach 1, search the full armored Xyz. And this is actually really convenient that Dueling has to detach 2, because now the Xyz Armor Fortress has no more materials underneath, so he can still summon the Dark Knight Lancer on top. Much better than having to search like 2 armored Xyz cards that are complete trash. And we're not trying to play bad cards in our deck. No, we're trying to win, not trying to lose. Anyway, since every single monster on our field is a water monster, we can summon Abyss Shark. And we're also searching Xyz Remora from our deck to our hand, which is insane. But anyways, overlay into Stealth Kraken, which is not really relevant now because we're just going to be detaching 2 materials. This is one of the very few monsters that even with 0 materials is an interruption on your opponent's turn, unlike, like Dweller and stuff like that. Anyways, detach 2, revive back, summon the Xyz Remora, and then revive back 2 level 4 fish monster from the grave, and then go into Bahamut Shark, detach, summon the Toad, and then go into the Dark Knight Lancer, which can recycle back any Xyz card from the graveyard to the hand. Xyz in quotation, so in other words, it's not like an Xyz monster, but rather a card with the word Xyz in its name. And Xyz Remora is not once per turn, so we can use it again, and then summon it again, summon the Bahamut Shark, summon the Toad, and then set 1 pass. This is already really good off of 1 single card. So we got double Toad, double Omni Negate that also recycles back a card and sets the card that we negate if we want to. It's optional. And then we got the Stealth Kraken, so every monster on the field becomes water. If we have Goes and Match on top, it's like even nastier. And during either player's main phase, you can destroy 1 water monster upon controls. Destroy it and then inflict damage equal to half of the attack it had on the field. Again, every single monster becomes water on the field anyway, so you don't have to worry about your opponent having to play a water deck. And we also have the full armored Xyz that we can get into the graveyard really quickly just by overlaying for whatever utopic future. And then graveyard effect is going to be one of the interruptions, because we can banish it and then equip an Xyz monster from our graveyard to an Xyz monster on the field. I believe it's field or graveyard, yes, and then that will trigger the Dark Knight Lancer in order to equip, or rather attach a monster on our opponent's field to this card. So yeah, this is 1 interruption, and then 2, 3, 4. This is a lot of pressure off of 1 single freaking card. But yeah, that's it for combo number 1. Let's get into combo number 2. Alright, so I can already imagine what you're thinking in your head, but yak sign, this combo loses to Nibiru. Well, obviously it's a 1-card combo, but if you have like 2 cards, you're always beating Nibiru. So Ready Fusion and Surfacing Big Jaws, look at what you can do. Activate Ready Fusion and then special summon the rare fish. And then since you activated a normal spell, or rather since any spell card was activated this turn, you can special summon Big Jaws, and then of course on summon you can search a shark monster, and then go for the Bahamut Shark, and then summon number 4 is going to be the Toad, and then summon number 5 Buzzsaw Shark, special summon, and then from here on out we're safe from Nibiru. But yeah, anyways, summon the Xyz Remora from the graveyard, and then detach 2 from Dueling, and then revive back the Buzzsaw Shark or the Big Jaws, doesn't really matter too much. And then overlay for the Xyz Armor Fortress, detach, search the useless trap card. The real reason why we're doing that is because we want to indirectly search the Xyz Remora. So, you notice what I did there? I special summoned the Xyz Remora from the deck, and then I detached it, and then summoned the Dark Knight Lancer, and then recycled it back. So it's basically playing around or through Drool in a really crafty way. So even if you're under Jewel, it's really not the end of the world. You only really need like one search the majority of the time. The one issue, I guess, is that full armored Xyz is not going to be able to be searched off of the the Xyz Armor Fortress, so sometimes you have to waste like other monsters in order to make Dark Knight Lancer, because this card is so freaking annoying. You can only use it as a material for Dark Knight Lancer when you have no cards underneath it. It's really like the one big drawback. Anyways, now we're going to be detaching 2 to summon Xyz Remora. We don't have enough space to summon 2 monsters, but that's completely fine, right? Bahamut Shark, detach, summon the Toad, and then we're not locked under Abyss Shark. So even though we can only summon Xyz monsters and we have to skip our next main phase 1 because of Garura, what's the name of the card? Not Garura, Jesus. Dugaris. Oh my god, that's not even close. It's fine, we can still summon non-water monsters, so Utopic Future, and then we're not going to be summoning the Utopic Draco Future because we want to summon it on the opponent's turn so that we can get the full armored Xyz in the grave. And just like that, we have 4 interruptions. That was Nibiru proof, which is very disgusting. The only difference between this combo and the other one is that, well, first of all, this beats Nibiru, but second, instead of having the Stealth Kraken, we have Utopic Draco Future, which, whatever, it doesn't really change too much, but yeah, that's it for this one. Let's get into the third and final combo. Alrighty, so my hand has Ready Fusion, Buzzsaw Shark, Full Armored Xyz, which is a brick, Surfacing Big Jaws, and Ash. My opponent has Veiler, Snake Eye, Ash, Imperm, the Bellstar, Bonfire, doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, even though I have a brick and a hand shop, I'm basically playing with 3 cards. That's all I really need to beat 2 hand shops. So normal summon Buzzsaw Shark, I'm gonna get Impermed here because my opponent doesn't know what else I have in my hand, so I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine, Ready Fusion, and then summon my rare fish, go into Bahamut, and then my opponent only has like 1 other hand shop, so you might as well Veiler that. And that's not gonna change anything to my life because I can still make pretty much like a full combo. Even though I drew the full armored Xyz, it's not bad in this instance. But yeah, special summon these Surfacing Big Jaws because I did go for Ready Fusion, or Instant Fusion does the same thing. And then search my deck for Abyss Shark, and then special summon that, and search for Xyz Remora. It's crazy what you can do with 1 card, Special summon, search another card that searches another card and special summons itself, and that card that I just searched off of, like, the search card that I searched can special summon 2 other monsters. It's ridiculous. But anyways, it's a good thing that I have the full armored Xyz because now I can detach the 2 materials that Xyz Armor Fortress has, summon the Xyz Remora, revive back 2 level 4 fish from the grave. And this is insane, I have 5 freaking monsters on the board. So I'm gonna be going to Bahamut Shark, detach, summon the Toad, and then go into the Dark Knight Lancer, recycle back the Xyz Remora again, overlay for Abyss Dweller, and then detach 2 to summon the Xyz Remora. I've got a level 4 and a level 5, but the Abyss Shark and the Crystal Shark, they can both be used in order to summon a rank 4 number Xyz monster. So I can make a Stealth Kraken using these 2. So I'm going to be setting the full armored Xyz, and on the opponent's turn, I'll be going full armored Xyz, summon the Stealth Kraken. And I can also use Dweller, so my opponent is under Dweller. And I still have the Dark Knight Lancer, which can attach a monster, the Stealth Kraken that can destroy a monster, and the Toad that can negate everything. And I still have another card in my hand. After like drawing a brick and getting a hand shot 2 times, which is very, very disgusting. It is really scary that Shark is this good right now. So yeah, you might want to pick up on some Shark cards while they're still cheap, because this deck is definitely going to skyrocket once the new support comes out. And again, this is what I managed to come up with in 1 single day. So imagine after a few months how it will be even better. But anyways, let's get into the deck profile now. Alrighty, so for the deck profile, I just want to reiterate the fact that this is, you know, probably the best deck list you will be finding on YouTube, at least until I make another one, maybe next time on the spreadsheet video, which can only happen if you smash the like and subscribe button. But yeah, I am playing 15 hand shops with Call by the Grave, Triple Crossout, and Goes in Match, which amounts to, what, 19 non-engine? That is a lot. That is a 91.93% chance of drawing a hand shop going second, if my maths are correct. And the odds of drawing like 2 are still like super high. So if you're going second, you're fine. And if you're going first, I mean, you draw like any of these cards, and you're also usually fine. So it's very consistent going first, and you beat hand shops inherently. Or you also have like cross out, called by to also beat hand shops. And you've got a bunch of extenders. So yeah, I divided everything into sections just in order to make sure that everything is super easy to comprehend. But this deck is kind of, I mean, it's not that it's low brain, but it's very linear, so you should be able to understand regardless. Alright, so for the hand shops, 3 Ash because it's super generic, 3 Veiler because it's pretty good, 3 Imperm because it's a little better than Veiler, so might as well, right? So 9 of the best hand shops out there. And for the other hand shops that I'm just not super a big fan of, but you still have to play at least for crossout, 2 Nibiru. In this deck, it's not really good because if you nib your opponent on your turn, you're gonna have a non-water on the field, so you won't be able to use Abyss Shark unless you go into Stealth Kraken first. So keep that in mind. That's the only reason why Nibiru is like a little meh in this deck. Anyways, 2 Droll, I mean, it's good, it doesn't conflict or anything. And 2 Mourner, which is just worse than Veiler and Imper, but it's still good regardless. So yeah, 15 hand traps, not trying to play any more, but also not trying to play any less because we want to always have access to cross out to negate all the hand traps that we play. Of course, Called by the Grave and Goes in Match, these are the obvious one-ofs that you're trying to play in a deck that you can just, you know, you can sack the shit out of your opponent. If you make Stealth Kraken and Goes in Match, now your opponent can't summon any non-water monsters, which is kind of game against a fire deck, for example. Hey, this is the kind of situation where you can really say that water is super effective against fire. So yeah, moral of the story, ditch your fire decks right now as Snake Eyes is garbage and play sharks instead. Anyways, for the actual shark cards now, 3 Buzzsaw Shark. This card is a 1-card starter that makes 4 interruptions on its own, as I've clearly demonstrated. 1 Surfacing Big Jaws, which, I mean, it doesn't really do that much on its own, but if you have like this and any other extender, then it's basically full combo. But this card is a necessity to play in your deck anyways. And, you know, on its own, it's still decent. It's still Bahamut into Toad with like something else, so yeah, you should still play 3 copies of it. I mean, it's the 2nd best card in the deck. And Abyss Shark is the 3rd best card in the deck. It is not a starter, but it is an extender that also gets your stuff going. If you got Abyss Shark plus a spell card, I mean, like a instant fusion or ready fusion, it's gonna be really filthy. Speaking of the devil, 1 instant and 2 ready fusion with only 1 target because the rare fish is a fish monster that can, I mean, no shit, right? Wait, actually, no, I take that back, right? Thunder Dragon is not a dragon monster, and Cyber Dragon either. But yeah, you can shuffle it back into the deck with, sorry, no, it doesn't have to be a fish. As long as it's a water, you can shuffle it back into the deck with Silent Sea Needle. I was thinking about this monster, Lifeless Leaf Fish. This can be, like the graveyard effect of this card is basically Daigusto Emerald but for fish. And this is for water, but it doesn't draw you a card. So yeah, even though you only play 1, you can technically resolve these cards multiple times because of the existence of Silent Sea Nettle. Nettle, Needle, I don't know, I don't really care. Medusa looking ass. Anyways, yeah, so 3 of all these cards, but don't play like 3 Ready Fusion. It's bad because if you draw like multiples and one gets its effect negated, then you can't use another one. You can, like, if it gets its activation negated, you can, but like you might as well just play different cards because I don't know. You also don't want to give like too much information to your opponent. If you go like straight away for instant fusion, your opponent might be scared that you randomly play like Mud Dragon of the Swamp or I don't know, like I don't know. Yeah, actually, yeah, Mud Dragon of the Swamp is kind of cute in this deck, but even though yeah, I mean, no, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, don't play that card. But yeah, maybe Millenniumizer, Strike, Thousand-Izer. I don't freaking know. I don't really care. Anyways, do Silent Sea something. Yeah, it's a extender from your hand, but it's not a fish. It's an aqua, unfortunately, so that makes it worse, right? If you can't revive it back with Xyz Remora, you can't search it with Abyss Shark, and you can't search it with this because it's also not a shark monster, and it's not a fish. So everything went wrong, but it doesn't really have like any drawbacks necessarily. Unlike this card right here, Silent Angler. This card is indirectly once per turn, but it's worse than that because if you control a water monster, you can special summon it from the hand, but you cannot special summon monsters from the hand for the rest of the turn. So you got like a bunch of extenders from the hand. Silent Angler always has to be the last one, and it's just really awkward. So I think 1 copy is all you really need. And then 1 Xyz Remora, 1 is definitely all way more than enough because you can recycle it back like infinite times with Dark Knight Lancer. Every single turn, you don't even have to detach your material to recycle it back. And this card is also not once per turn, it's completely cracked. And then 1 Crystal Shark, which is another extender either from the hand or graveyard, so that's the reason why we play it. But it's a level 5, so you can only really use it as a level 4 if you're making a number monster, such as Stealth Kraken, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's literally it. Yeah, it has to be for a number water monster. No, never mind, a number monster. But you're usually locked under water only, so I don't know if you're really going to be making Dugaris that often. And finally, the Mewtwo Naffle Princess, really whack name. Basically, this is a level 1 monster that you summon off of 1-for-1, so that's the real appeal. You could technically play 3 copy of this card because it is a 1-card starter, so basically on normal or special, you banish it and then summon a level 4 lower fish from your deck, so you could summon either the Buzzsaw Shark, which you're pretty much always going to be doing since Buzzsaw Shark is a 1-card combo, or you can summon Surfacing Big Jaws. Yeah, this is just like another normal summon, so do you really want to play like 9 normal summons in your deck? I don't think so. So that's the reason why it's only a 1-for-1. But otherwise, I mean, like, the only way it really backfires is if you draw both, but even then, you can still 1-for-1 summon this from the hand. So it has, like, 1.08% chance of you drawing both. It's really not the end of the world. And then finally, the only armored Xyz brick that I played is full armored Xyz. This is the worst card in the deck because you don't want to draw it, because it means, I mean, it's basically a Garnet. If you draw it, it means that your Xyz Armor Fortress cannot detach anything, which also means that the Dark Knight Lancer can't just be splashed on, like, over it for free, unfortunately. So it really, like, that's the only reason why you really don't want to draw this card. Otherwise, every single card in this deck is good to draw. Yeah, this deck is pretty clean. It doesn't really play any, like, super terrible cards other than that, so yeah, it's 39 cards up, your pleasure. And again, going second, you're fine. Going first, you make gigantic boards. And yeah, the extra deck is also like very... it has a lot of options in it, even though you don't play a single Link monster. So yeah, Rare Fish for the instant and ready fusion. And then Zeus Typhon, which you can actually summon on your opponent's turn using full armored Xyz. Yeah, you can really catch your opponents off guard with these two monsters. And then Utopic Draco Future and Utopic Future, just like 3 ways of making Bahamut Shark like a... turn into like 1 additional interruption. Once you use all of them to summon your 2 toads, you're left with like 2 Bahamut Sharks that don't really do anything, so you might as well turn them into another monster negate. And then full armor Dark Knight Lancer with the Xyz Armor Fortress. I mean, this is obvious. Abyss Dweller, the other rank 4 water monster that has an actual good effect. And then Stealth Kraken, a number of monsters, so you can summon it using the Abyss Shark and Crystal Shark. And then Stealth Kraken Sprawn, this could also be like a second Stealth Kraken or a Silent Honor Arc, for example. But when Stealth Kraken dies, you can summon this from the extra deck. And then when this dies, you can summon back the Stealth Kraken. So yeah, you can kind of break boards in a really cute way by like crashing this and then summon it. You can do some nice things, basically. And then the Dugaris, obviously, for the 1-card combo of Buzzsaw Shark. But some other combos can utilize Dugaris really well. It's a good card overall. And then the 2 Bahamut and 2 Toad, obviously, that's... the bread and butter strategy of this deck is to summon as many toads as possible because this card is completely cracked. And for the idea section / side deck, even though this is not much of a side deck, at first considered playing 3 Small World in the main deck, but kind of sucks because there's no way of like bridging your waters into like hand traps and then into like other waters. So in other words, this card is trash. Do not consider it. And it's also a neg 1, so yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just not good. Xyz Armor Torpedo is garbage. Lifeless Thief Fish is another normal summon brick. You don't want that. Right Hand Shark is a brick when you draw it. It's only good with like Foolish Burial, so don't consider it. And then Drake Shark is garbage. If you draw it, it's bad. And it only does something when you search it off of surfacing Big Jaws. And even then, like, this can still search like any other extender, like Silent Angler. And then you can go into like Bahamut Toad. No, sorry, you can't do that. But you can search like Abyss Shark and then search like, I don't know, something else. It doesn't really matter too much. This card is a complete crap. And then Armored Shark. This is a card that you can search with Xyz Armor Fortress. The only issue is that this card is completely useless. It literally does nothing in the hand. And even the on-field and in-grave effect are garbage. So everything about this card is like super trash. From the new cards, the only ones that are like actually really good is, well, yeah, no, it's really just surfacing Big Jaws. Everything else is trash. Anyways, White Mirror, you no longer need to play this card. I just don't think it's a good card at all. So you can revive back a level 4 lower fish from your grave and then add a monster from your deck to hand with the same name as the monster that you revive back. So on paper it looks broken, but you don't really want like Monster Reborns in this deck. Well, let me rephrase this. You almost never want to play Monster Reborn-esque cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! In the first place because they're just bad cards. If you draw like a bunch of extenders from the grave with like a bunch of hand traps and 1 extender from the hand, that hand does nothing. I can make like an in-depth video on how these cards are just like really bad to play. But yeah, no, just try to stay away from cards like White Mirror. Surface Aqua Jet is like just not any better, so I don't like it either. And then Foolish Burial for the Right Hand Shark. And some random cards that I don't even know why they were here. Yeah, and I'll try to make this deck look like a... try to make the section look like a side deck. It would be a little too confusing for some people that don't really listen when I freaking speak. It's not a side deck, it's an idea section. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about sharks in the comment section below. And by the way, when I say sharks, I mean like the shark deck, not people that try to shark you and, you know, try to ruin your tournament experience and be like, yeah, bro, my bad, but like you did that, and you get what I'm saying. But yeah, anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.